I'm John Chen. I'm your host of the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. If you're watching my here live on social media, make sure and subscribe, share, like, and comment. Tell some other people about this beautiful and amazing podcast that's getting a jillion downloads every so often. If you want to see all the episodes, make sure and go to www.engagingvirtualmeetings.online, where you can find all the episodes, and a new episode drops every Wednesday. And if you want to learn how to be more engaging in the world, come to an engaging retreat. It's every October in 2026. It will be October 20th through 22nd here live in Seattle and virtually anywhere in the world that you can click a button. Take out your camera, scan this QR code for a free ticket. And I just got to share with you that where have I been in the world? I've been in Halifax, Canada. So I got a chance to present at the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers Conference. I'm going to share an episode later on, and that episode is called I just presented an 8-minute keynote that took over 100 hours of prep. So wait for that episode and figure out why that had to happen. And lastly, I just came from Phoenix, Arizona, the National Speakers Association CSP, or Certified Speaking Professional Summit. 150 certified speaking professionals walk into a hotel and get a 2.5-day mastermind. I'm walking out, I think, with the business idea for 2026. Stay tuned. You might be the right target market for that. Meanwhile, we got an incredible guest here today. He's got a master's in educational psychology. He's authored 18 books, over 41 journal articles, and over 10 train-the-trainer guides, including one for the Center for Creative Leadership. He, too, is one of the 600 certified speaking professionals, making him a top 1% speaker in the world. Let's kick it in with FRAN KICK. Oh, where's your walk-in music? Late walk-in music.
Thank you, Zoom. Thank you, Zoom.
Watch this. Wait, we're going to do it again, Fran. We got to do this right. Okay, here we go. Let's kick it in with FRAN KICK. All right, where's I got applause too.
Thunder applause. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Hi, Fran. How you doing?
I'm great. Good to be with you.
Oh my. Yes, so that's how we do this here in this beautiful podcast. Have you ever had such an intro such as this one?
It's certainly one of them. I'm impressed. Thank you for pulling out all the stops. And like I said, it looks in reality out my window the way it looks in virtual reality for you. So it's a beautiful snowy day here in Ohio.
Oh, talk to us. What's the temperature and what's the projection for the day?
We're at 0, and with the wind chill, it's -11.
Yeah. What are you expecting? Are you expecting a few inches or more?
Actually, we got most of the snow, and now it's just going to slowly warm up so that by Thursday it'll be raining and all gone.
Oh, well, we got lots of rain here. We got the atmospheric river cruising through Seattle, and let me tell you, there's some crazy stuff happening here. Hot freeways falling in from sinkholes because there's so much water in the ground. And my friend who was just on the last call said that Snoqualmie, one of our cities nearby, almost the entire town is flooded. This is like a 150 year kind of flood thing. I think that's happening right now.
Crazy.
Right, but so far here in virtual land, the weather's fine. The temperature, at least in my house, 72 degrees.
That's good. Good.
Oh man. So Fran, well, first tell me about this logo, right? I don't think I've heard about this story about your logo.
Oh, it's just a guy kicking with a light bulb over his head, and it's the mission or vision of what we try to create is insight and implementation. Because as you know, John, ideas are one thing, implementation is everything.
Everything. Well, we like to say in our company, Fran, is what gets done gets done.
Yeah. Right.
And so that's why we do try and take advantage of sometimes doing minor things, but just doing them now so they're done and you don't have to go back and think about it. And then,
Right.
But we also look to get bigger things done. Like in conferences, we can actually have the records of the presentations ready less than 2 hours after the meeting ends.
That's awesome.
And that's people want that, right? They're like, when can I get the recordings? And they're like 4 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yep.
So getting it done is everything. All right. Well, Fran, a few of my friends don't know you. Why don't you just take a moment to introduce who you are and what you do in the world?
Well, you and I met years ago, thanks to a gentleman named Tiagi at Nasaga, which were a bunch of game creators, users, military, corporate, nonprofits, Peace Corps to scouting. And my background's educational psychology. So I'm all about getting people more engaged in the learning process. And that has morphed into working with corporate and educational worlds, trying to develop better leadership and smarter followership for faster long-term results.
Okay, so how did that start then, Fran?
Well, years and years ago, when I was teaching in the K-20 world, elementary, middle school, high school, and college, there was something that was drastically different about learning. And the whole idea was, sure, we could have a textbook and the content. Sure, we could present a slide up on the screen. But the truth was the only way students got it was if they interacted with the content and the material and made it their own. And so that's been my mission in terms of presentation approach ever since, whether it's in person or virtually, trying to get people to interact and engage. Because I think being engaging is all about being interactive. And, you know, for people like you and I who come from the speaking, presenting world,
Yeah.
It's going to be a short life if you're just reading your PowerPoint slides to people.
It could be a long life, but sometimes it's a long class, like
That's
long,
true. That's
boring.
right.
When time slows down, and like in the slow motion scenes in a movie, just
Yes.
right?
Right.
It's like
I actually walked out of a session I was observing. I was part of a larger conference, and the people were walking out, and they were literally, one of the women said, you know, you could have emailed me the PowerPoint deck. I wouldn't have had to come all this way.
ouch,
Yeah. Ouch is
ouch,
right.
ouch. Well, you're right. If we met in Tiagi and the saga, right? We're already in the part, and oh, actually, I want to check. Do you know of a speaker named Steve Spangler?
I happen to know Steve Spangler. Yeah.
So Steve presented at the CAPS,
Oh,
right?
very cool. Yeah.
With Mark Scherenbrock. I mean, they talk about like OG of the OGs, and like he's showing these. He's got so many Guinness World Records and videos that have gone to millions of views. And he
Right.
he showed us the connection stick. Have you ever seen this connection stick?
I've seen it in different forms, so
So
maybe not the latest one.
So, I mean, it's just a piece where, like, it lights and flashes, makes noise when you make a connection, but you can do it around people.
Right.
And so then people started doing, like, in graduation, and so he showed, like, a video of a high school doing it with, like, 14,000 people to make this connection, right? But he's just using science in an interactive way. And the secret is, this is why I'm going to cue you for a story like this, Fran. The secret was when science makes it to the dinner table. Because what happened
Yes.
is that Steve he got called in by the principal, and he's like, "Okay, what did I do?" And because he did, he blew something up in his class.
That's
Right, he
right.
made some chemical reaction, and I think he put an electrical volt through all the kids, and he's like, "I'm gonna get fired, right? They're gonna think that I got, that I'm torturing the kids." And the parent came in and said, "I just want to thank you, Mr. Spangler, because your science lesson made it to my dinner table, and it I didn't re- I did not have to do the thing I hate to do as a parent, which was ask my kid what happened at
What
school
happened in
today."
school today? Right.
Because the kid is like queued up before it all going on and doing a play-by-play, right, of him dropping like gummy bears in to like make a chemical reaction and blow up a piece of jar and blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And he says, "Thank you for that. Thank you for that." So just curious, friend, in your history, what were some of the lessons you think that might have hit the dinner table?
Well, and it's funny you mention Steve because his Magic Snow was a huge hit with our kids growing up around third or fourth grade when parents help out with the party in the wintertime before the break. And we brought in a bunch of Magic Snow. And kids just thought that was the coolest thing in the world to have a little bit of that in their hand. And then all of a sudden, it was
I don't know
awesome.
what magic. I don't know. I don't think I've seen the magic snow. What is it? A chemical? Is it a reaction? How does it
It
work?
is. I'll let Steve explain it, but it comes across like a little white powder, and you add some water to it, and all of a sudden it's boom and turns into snow, or what appears to be snow. And
Oh,
yeah, it's a great engager for young and old, I will add.
Aw. And was there a magical moment, or is it just seeing the kids light up when they like it turns into snow? Is it-
Yeah, they just thought that was awesome. That was awesome. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about in terms of when you interact with people and engage, it's not a broadcast, it's an interaction.
Right.
And the neat thing about Steve and how he presented every world record he ever pulled off, it was always interactive with other people.
Right.
And they would capture it on film, and it was just an amazing experience, not only for the people there, but also people who observe it, because they're like, how'd they do that? And that's the cool thing. Yeah. Like any good magician, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like any good magician, I've gotten a chance to travel to the Magic Castle in LA. Have you ever gone to the Magic Castle?
I have not been to the Magic Castle, no.
You got to put it on your list. I'll let you know. All right. If you ever go to LA, even without me, we'll try and get you in. But that's I think that's where great presenting comes in too, right? So, friend, what are you doing, or what has to happen for you when you're like attending somebody else's program that has to be engaging instead of walking out and saying, right, you could have emailed me the PowerPoint deck.
Yeah. Well, and I think that authentic connection with people is powerful. And so when you create a presentation and you're sharing information, let's say, whether it's an HR required training you have to do in your company, or whether it's a nonprofit organization saying, hey, we want to reinvent ourselves and create a whole new strategic plan, bringing people and ideas together and getting them to share is so important. And so, 1 + 1 = 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I think having been a classically trained musician who played a lot of jazz growing up, I know that when things are in tune, the resonance, right, sounds richer than the individuals playing it. That's why a big band sounds so big, right? Or a philharmonic orchestra sounds so huge. Barbershop quartets sound bigger than they are, right? Because they're in tune with each other. And when that happens, that's when that magic occurs.
Well, one of the things that I've done is gotten a chance to travel, and I got a chance to travel to Fiji. And at least at the time, every Fijian is taught 4-part harmony.
Yes.
So this is why it sounds like 4 times as many people. We actually got to visit a Fijian church, and it was one of the most incredible things you will ever hear, Francis. You're, acoustically attuned. Is that, it was like a group of 80, and they sound like 360, 320 people because of the harmonics or the harmonies that they're creating. And I think that's part of. I think why music makes more. Music is still, to my date, a very important part of almost every program. One, because you can change the state of almost everybody in the room, right, in less than 3 seconds by using, popular music, and it sets the mood for that. So I'm curious, so what are you doing with music now?
I still involved in music. It's probably 25% of my calendar, nonprofit music organizations, performing arts groups, things like that. My favorite speaking event was with the American Guild of English Handbell Ringers. So now picture, that church, they have the handbells that ring sometimes at church. Yeah. Imagine 400 of these people in a giant arena, basketball arena, with all their felt-covered tables scattered on the floor and in arches, and then the conductor's halfway up the stands, and he's conducting, and that, to this day, is my best definition of intonation, because it was amazing.
What did you experience, or what words could you use to describe that for somebody who wasn't there?
It's very heavenly, very heavenly.
It's like, what was the last time I experienced? Oh, when I finished the climb in Denali, and there's 2 mountains that you have to hike through, like it's a valley. And all I could imagine, because we were like towards the end of the last couple hours of this climb, like there's angels that come up on the top of the mountains that they're all, singing or playing, or it's trumpets, or like that's what it felt like, because you're at the end of this journey where everything is going to get easier after. Right? It was definitely a challenge inside of that. Oh my. Well then, what was the most engaging moment you've had in the last 5 years? Whether it's you presenting, or maybe you again attending somebody else's thing.
The most engaging moment in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
We got,
I think that this probably stretches to 6 or 7. We did an event in the Alamo Dome on the field for about 3,000 high school students and created this team building leadership experience using koosh balls and blindfolds. And that was probably the most interactive session in my recent memory, because it was just an amazing feat of energy and learning at the same time. And what was so cool was afterwards, people who weren't on the field but watched it from the stands were like going, "How in the world did that happen?" I said, "Well, we had a lot of volunteers with big duffel bags and lots of koosh balls. That's how it really happened."
what did they do? I don't I don't think I understand what happened on the field.
So it's a game called Tank that a friend of mine has facilitated with me many, many times. Frank Crockett. He's a direct descendant of a guy named Davy. And it's basically, you have two roles. Someone's the driver and someone's the tank. The tank is blindfolded. They're the only ones that can pick up the koosh balls and fire it at other tanks. And if you want a sneak peek of it, you can go to kickitin.com/tank, surprisingly enough. And there's a video there that'll show you how it works. It's one of my all-time favorites with youth or adult, because it demonstrates the power of communicating in a way so people get it. And that requires trust, and that requires clear communication that's constant and ongoing. And it's just a great exercise that brings to life that important lesson.
Okay, so I see a video here at the bottom. Are you saying this? This is like a 60-second video. Oh, is this?
Yeah, don't play it now, but you can go to it, check it out, see it. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to take a look. I thought if you had a full-scale tank game video here, I'd play it. Very cool. I mean, where did your love of games like this come from? Right? Did you grow up with it, or was it an acquired taste later?
No, I think being a musician, I've learned that interaction between other musicians is so important, and that being there in the moment to make that music happen with other people and being in sync, as we would say, is critical. And I guess one of the downsides to my introduction to the professional speaking world, if you will, was that there are a lot of people who put on a good show, who present very, very well, and they're engaging and they're powerful, but there's not a lot of connection with the audience. And when I see that, I'm impressed because it's a performance.
Yeah.
But I think that the magic comes when the music happens with the audience and the performer or the speaker. And so we're at the holiday time filming this right now. There's that opportunity to have the orchestra turn to the audience and say, "Hey, sing along with us. We're going to sing this Christmas carol." And when everyone gets involved and sings with them, all of a sudden that makes that concert so much more powerful for the people in the audience than just sitting there and listening to the music that they play,
Yeah, in engagement, I've been instructing anyone who will listen to me, right? One of my key edicts here is to allocate up to half of my keynote time for the audience to talk.
Yeah.
Because, right, number one, it's impossible for them to be multitasking when you got a mic and they're we're talking to them online. The second part is what they say is often way more interesting than what I have to say, because they're in the middle of it right here and right now. And I think a lot of people, especially maybe in the quote unquote older schooler, like the original keynote was like, you got to talk for 60 minutes. And I'm not about that anymore. I'm really into I think lots of things are gravitating to this. I'm really curious to see if this is what you're seeing, though. But everyone's talking about, we want an experience.
Yes.
You can kind of do that talking, but it is way more powerful if you can actually physically go do something.
Right. And especially because now, back when quote unquote keynotes were first created and Mark Twain and all those folks traveled around the country and spoke to people, right?
Right.
There wasn't TV, there was a little bit of radio, more of it came along. But now that I can have, a YouTube video of almost anything I want nonstop, or TikTok, and entertain myself and find the answer to how to replace brakes in my 1987 Nissan. I mean, so getting that information on video broadcasted that way is pretty easy without a person flying somewhere and standing on a stage. What isn't as easy is creating that connection with the audience, the presenter, and each other. And like you said, the audience, the wisdom of the crowd, right? The room is full of insight and relevance that can take perhaps what you're sharing and bring it to life for them in their situation, so that after you're gone, they have something to implement rather than just remember.
You know, like I got a chance to talk to Dr. Nito Cobain, who's also one of the, right, Cavitz
Yeah.
Hall of Famers, one of 46, and he just talked about that. He goes, content is everywhere now. If you're just delivering content, right, you're going to be out of a job pretty soon.
Yeah.
What people are asking for and want more of is wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wisdom is, right, is totally different. This is an experience which inspires you to do something else, look at something else in a way you haven't seen it, give you a valuable insight. I don't know. I think that's those are the and most importantly for me, I think in wisdom is I can tell you the secret of the game, but if you experience it, one, either by making a mistake, or two, by discovering the secret, you will remember it much longer than if I told you go do this.
Voila. Yes.
Okay.
Well said. Very well said.
What's one of your best debrief experience? Right. So I'm assuming you believe in the debrief.
Oh, yeah. The debrief, in my experience, is more important than the game. The game is an excuse to then have the debrief, to be really honest. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's one of the best debriefs that you think you've had in there, or your more surprising or unexpected debrief that you've had in your lifetime?
Well, we did an interesting pilot presentation for the Global Followership Conference back in May. And these are folks who have come to the realization that studying leadership is great, but if you don't have smarter followership, it doesn't matter. And so we've had a product for a long time. It was an activity-based series of cards that illustrated leadership. There were 200 of them, and you can scatter them out on the floor, tables, and you pick them up and you play games with them and everything. And I remember being at the International Leadership Association conference in Miami, Florida, and one of the closing plenary session presenters actually stopped in the middle of everything, room full of academic people who study leadership and practice it and all that. And he goes, you know, maybe we spent too much time studying leadership, and if we spent more time on followership, we might get better leaders. And so we launched this a followership deck that actually has images of followership that represent the major theories of what it means to follow in various formats and ways. And it's a cool deck because it illustrates the power of image. And in fact, for all of your viewers out there or listeners, if you go to kickitin.com/John10, you can get the DIY version of this yourself. And so it's just a PDF. You can print it off and all the images are there, and it has a dozen different activities that you can play with it. There's even a starter video. And my holiday gift to anyone who's listening to this and cares to check it out, because I think if we did start to develop smarter followers, we would get better leaders.
You know, I think what's really cool is that I just, again, returned from the Certified Speaking Professional Summit that was in Phoenix, Arizona, right? Have you ever been yet, Fran?
I have. I've been to a few. I couldn't go this year. I was working.
Take the paid gig. It's okay. And what was great about it was Sam Silverstein from St. Louis was the facilitator, and he just noticed our group needed almost no facilitation. Right? This is a place where, despite having 9 pretty high-powered leaders in their own right, also understood when to lead and when to follow. And that's really big. It's very difficult to Well, it's like, here's the easy one. It's very difficult for 9 professional speakers to figure out when they're going to talk. But it was great. Like it was really, it all happened in magic where people just, right, they were able to be patient and to wait. And often if they waited, their comments got better.
Right.
Nobody felt like they got stepped on. And that's really hard. I think that's a very challenging thing to do. And it takes the 9 right people who both understand both leadership and followership at the same time to create a cohesive experience for everybody.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah, I just thought, when's the last time you saw magic? Right? I want to, however you choose to define magic. We would talk about Magic Castle, but when's an event happen where something happened like, well, like I'm pretty sure, right? You and I have facilitator playbooks where here's like 99% of stuff that's going to happen is going to happen, right? But there's this 1% event. Something happens and you're like, whoa, didn't expect that.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
And then something really cool happened.
Yeah. Well, I was last week. It was a Friday at 3:30 p.m. and did a program for a federally qualified healthcare network of people who traveled in from all over the state. And all I thought was, who picked this time? Like, this is crazy, right?
What time was it?
3:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. And so, but what was so impressive to me was everyone came in and they were super engaged, mostly because they were willing to share their experiences with each other. And that's what made that presentation so much richer. I mean, sure, I had content to present, but like you've said before, if the audience is engaged and participating, and it's gonna create that magic for you.
What was the question? What was the, like? If you don't have to disclose the company, I'm just curious what the question was that they were ready to share about.
It was all about how do we create excellence for not only our employees but also for our patients and customers and clients, and they already, it's that appreciative inquiry approach. They already know when it works well what it's supposed to look like. The goal now is how do we create a culture where that's happening more often than not.
And what do you think was different about the environment? So something I study intensely is psychological safety, and the fact that you have a group, whether they were ready or that you helped them get ready to share, is really a key, right? So
Right.
in the Google Aristotle research, it says I'm willing to take a risk in front of my teammates.
Right.
And
Yes.
every time anybody shares, they're taking a risk, right? That at any moment, someone go like, "Oh, that's stupid," right? And then
Right.
it's over, and then nobody wants to share. But getting people to that state is something that's important, and there's some science to it. I think there's a lot of art to it. So I'm curious in this case, what do you think happened so that to allow people who wanted to freely share?
Well, I think one, the leadership in that organization made it really clear right from the introduction that we're here to do things differently, and we know that the best ideas come from the people who do the work. And so that was very empowering. And then in terms of what I offered to them was a completely different approach to presenting than just showing them PowerPoint slides.
Well, what was it? What is it?
We have a number of different interactive things that I will do with an audience to get them mixed up, pairing with different people than they normally sit with. Because you know what happens? Everyone comes in and sits next to their buddies and they just talk and stuff.
Blah, blah.
And so, even going back to that game in the Alamo Dome with blindfolds and koosh balls, it's hard not to be present. Right? You're not going to whip out your phone and check a text while someone's throwing koosh balls at you.
If they hit you, it's funnier.
That's right.
Because you're not paying attention. You're clearly not present.
So while we did not play tank on Friday at 3:30 in the afternoon, we were able to create that authentic connection. And I think, that's, you asked me in preparing for this, where I see the future of engagement and presentations and virtual connections and real connections. I think there's clearly going to be 2 directions that emerge in the future. One is that future artificial interaction that we're seeing more and more people take advantage of and use because it's cost effective and it helps answer questions quick and fast. But then there's that real authentic human interaction. And that's something that I think people will be drawn to and, pay for more of that interaction than they will just that artificial interaction. It'll be fun, but I think the authentic one is more real, and obviously presents a huge challenge for people like you and me who are presenting because, how do you know you're not talking to my avatar right now, John?
I don't know. I could be. If it's this good, it's pretty good. But otherwise,
Well,
what is this?
and this is where I'll point people to check out because the NBA, Major League Baseball, a lot of movie production companies right now are starting to tap into this thing called hand identity, and it simply stands for human and digital ID. And the goal is to be able to say, hey, is this really Tom Hanks or is this a replica of Tom Hanks? Am I really seeing someone or is this their stand-in, so to speak, or their avatar? So it's trying to create some, I don't want to say copyright, trademark kind of abilities, but for the human image, not only live, but also as the illustration on the screen suggests, a manufactured cartoon or a 3D version that's supposed to emulate someone like Tom Hanks or whoever. So if I was someone in the future, I think that this is going to be a challenge for lots of people and an opportunity too, right? Tom Hanks can keep acting long after he's gone from this planet, and his heirs and his estate can continue to generate royalties and revenue, and awesome. That's awesome.
Isn't that James Earl Jones gave up his voice or something like that?
You have to tell me. I didn't know about James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, which would be the voice of Darth Vader, I believe, did something like that, where either he donated or he allowed his voice to be sampled to be used in future things to, again, generate funds so they could go to nonprofit projects that his foundation is still running.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, there's also these other types of things. Is it even Jay Abraham just recently created an AI of himself, and it sounds just like him. It's crazy. Actually, we said it was better because it's more concise, right? Because sometimes you can go off on a tangent. He's someone with the ADHD, but it's very funny, and so that lots of people are doing things like that, and I think that's interesting. Though I had not even heard of this. How did you hear of this? I mean, is this part of one of your projects, or you just got an interest?
It was something that came across my feed one time, and I thought, that's an interesting idea. Only because, there are companies who are creating avatars for people. And then, for example, I could deliver this entire thing in a foreign language and not have to learn the foreign language. The voice replication is ahead of the video still. But I think eventually the video will be good enough, quote unquote, that you'd have a hard time telling what's real and what's the generated avatar.
So the fans who are following me here too, this summer I created a video for Laugh NSA. Laugh NSA is the comedy group, and somebody rewrote all the lyrics to A Whole New World to It's All AI, about how AI is going to replace us as speakers. And so we went and took it and got it sung by myself and another top, Jane Jerkins-Herlong, and then used Sora and 4 other video tools to create videos of it using just photographs that were publicly available of top keynote speakers. It was hilarious. Took 20 hours, but recently I had to do another video for another company for a holiday party, and it was better, and it took only 2 hours.
Yeah. And think about how fast and good that got. Bam.
And it's getting better. And it was able to do things like take a still of a person who's no longer working at the company, but he was famous for his ugly sweaters. He was known.
Yes.
We named the ugly sweater award after him, and it took a photograph and then was able to animate him doing dances like the cha-cha and modern interpretive dance, and it looked good. It looked good.
The last AI conference that I attended in Cincinnati, Ohio, very close to where I live, it's called Disrupt Now, and Rob Richardson puts it together, but it's the ethical use of AI, and so all these companies college people, organizations come together, talk about how can we use this in an ethical sort of way.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's where Hand ID came from, my first interaction with it, because someone mentioned it in passing. It was just starting. But then, like, Major League Baseball picked it up and others. And I do think that is a dilemma that we're going to have to handle, right? We're going to have to decide, can I use that image of that person in a presentation or a commercial, without their permission? That's still up in the air, right?
Yeah, but if it feels like an ethics violation, it probably is. Right? If it feels and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Oh man. So yeah, somebody. Well, I want to give a shout out to David Litvin too. I just visited with him in Phoenix, Arizona. He has a company that is doing AI models. So like if you had a clothing line, it can actually create models and short videos to put on the product site to show you what it looks like. He also did this incredible part with a furniture company where he's able to create furniture setups, but it's all AI. But it shows you like a holiday setup of like all the crystal and all the glasses. Yeah. And they didn't have to do that in real world. They were able to take the products and recreate them into a video so that you can make it and help a sale. And is it ethical or not? I don't know, but I got to tell you, it looks really, really good. It looks really, really good. So those are some of the things that might be coming in the future. And I don't know, is it any better if one of us is an avatar?
We'll let your viewers decide which one of us was real and which one of us was the avatar.
Oh, this is a great fan. I've never thought of this. Who will be the first CSP AI?
Yeah, I don't.
Book two. Have you seen Proto? Have you seen Proto yet?
I'm betting that someone's already playing with it a little bit. Especially because of the training implications. Yeah. I can write what I want to say in the training material and edit it, and it automatically becomes video. I don't need to go into a studio. I don't need to check the mic level. I don't need to do any of that. And so that's where the cost efficiency of it becomes so much better, right?
Well, and even better, which is like who's going to be like maybe the number of GSFs or the Global Speaking Fellows explodes because you can take an English-based video, put that in, and get a German and an Italian and a Chinese video out that is 99+% technically correct, maybe sellable at that point. And could you get paid for it anyways? All right, well, we come to this beautiful part of the interview, Fran, called the speed interview. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. After you answer everyone, I'll play some ridiculous noise, which is still, look at all these delays I have today. I don't know why. I haven't been home in 14 weeks. I'm pretty sure my computer is like going, where have you been, right? Why don't you have any of these beautiful noises queued up yet, right? So, all right, here we go.
The Zoom update really threw you, man.
Oh, man, it just crushed me, right? Wait, ready? Okay. Best Tiagi moment or learning?
His jolt.
Oh, the 99-second jolts?
Yeah.
Did you ever present one?
Yeah.
And what was it?
It's the one where you push your hands against the other person. It's very simple.
Genius. I think I did one with clapping. A game you learned a game you learned or still use at Nasaga, from Nasaga.
Ooh, from Nasaga. Twisted Arms. Again, Tiagi.
Ooh, is this like one of these like we connect hands and untangle things?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Let's see. Wait, ready? Best teacher in your life and why?
Wayne Markworth, and because he was the most real, authentic person I've ever experienced, and he rarely raised his voice. The man was like a Sherpa. He was calm and collected, and the world could be going to hell, and he was super calm.
Wow. And what city was that in?
That was here in Ohio.
Ohio. Yeah. There you go. DJ Foghorn for your teacher. What instrument do you play?
Trombone is my principal instrument. I did a secondary recital on bassoon.
Bassoon?
Yeah.
Oh, mine is guitar. Best jazz artist and why?
Best jazz artist. Well, I can't pick just one. Yeah, that would be impossible.
mash some, your perfect jazz artist, like maybe composed of 3 or 4 people.
Okay, so be Stan Kenton, Duke Ellington, and Count Basie.
Oh, yeah, 3 classics. That's all I need. Big handbells or small handbells? Which one do you like?
Well, I'd like the big handbells because you have fewer of them on the table. If you play the small handbells, you got a lot more to deal with.
Do you play handbells?
Not actively, no.
Okay, good. Best facilitator question.
Best facilitator question. Wow, again, I don't know if I can come up with just one. I like questions that start with what and how. I avoid questions that start with why.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Why?
there's a good tip. Come on, where's the music cue?
Oh, okay, ready? Yeah, why do you avoid questions with why? I'm curious.
What and how is a little more objective. As soon as you say why, it's kind of accusatory and people get defensive sometimes. Also, when you grew up as a kid, your parents asked you, why did you do that? And so it brings back trauma-filled memories sometimes.
I thought it was the kid question for the parents. Why? Why do you do that? Why does that happen? Why does the sun go up? Why does this car go?
That's right.
um, all right. Best thing you've ever been paid for? Wow,
Best thing I've ever been paid for.
yeah, where did this question come from? This is great.
Best thing I've ever been paid for. Whew. Yeah, I'm blessed to be able to do what I've been doing for 30 plus years and getting paid to do that. And some people think that's crazy. So,
We still think it's crazy, but it's the best kind of crazy ever.
yeah.
Best lesson of followership.
That it's okay to be the courageous follower who, like a seeing eye dog, will not lead someone into traffic, right? If you have a seeing eye dog, thank you, Ira Chela, for this example. The seeing eye dog, even if you try to insist, hey, I want to move forward, that seeing eye dog will disobey its owner to keep them safe. And I think sometimes as followers in life, right, we need to disobey those orders to keep other people safe.
Oh, ooh, wow! I don't even know what to do for that. I'm gonna do this.
Just let it hang there.
Yeah, think about it. I'm waiting for something to show up in my airport window, right? My airplane window. Follow! Like there's a guide dog with wings, right? Wow! I don't know, something like that. What's your secret for getting people to share?
Ask them.
Wow. Well, that no sounds for that. Wait, I have this one which is very funny. Oh, very delayed too. Come on.
Holy cow!
I know. Look how delayed this is. Very delayed. Okay, 2 last questions. Best culture practice.
Best culture practice? Bring people in on it.
Genius. All right. And if you could get people to magically remember one thing from this interview, what would you want them to remember?
That leadership without followership doesn't work. And perhaps following directions in games is a good example of what we need more of in life. You know, for the most part, you're following those directions, and every once in a while, you change it up a little bit just to see what would happen. And I think we could use some followers who change it up a little bit just to see what would happen.
My initial reaction was like, you got a group of people to actually listen to the rules of the game? You know, everyone just jumps to the conclusion, right? It's like what was it in Office Space? I created this game. It's called Jump to Conclusion. That feels like every team building group I've ever worked with in my life. Oh my gosh, Fran. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed hanging out here for a little bit. Yes, looking at that. Yeah, go check it out. His link is there, kickitin.com. You can also go to /JohnChen, get some bonuses, some gifts, some other things like that. And Fran, make sure, like, whenever you're in the Seattle area, make sure and stop by. We got a great group here, NSA Northwest, and lots of other friends here in the world. And actually, You know what? Secret, Fran. I heard some things that maybe we should go and consider injecting and kicking a little bit the Nasaga conference. Would you be interested in that?
Yes, yes. And if you're interested, nasaga.org, nasaga.org, amazing creative people, and they get together once a year or once every other year, depending. It's well worth your time if you're even remotely interested in how creating games works.
And it's again the North American Simulation and Gaming Association, one of the oldest, clocking in at over 60 something years now at this stage. So
Yeah.
So, Fran, I'm so glad, if anything, it gave us the opportunity to connect together years ago and reconnect together. And I hope that we get a chance to play a game or something else very, very soon.
It'd be fun. Thank you, John.
Outstanding. Thank you. We've been chatting with Fran Kirk, who says, not only study leadership, study followership. Think about this during your holiday season. Instead of trying to bowl over your family in some conversation or wherever, your friends or something, what if you just sat back, made somebody else the star, right? And maybe guided somebody like a guide dog to not start that conversation at the dinner table so they don't run themselves into traffic, right? Just imagine how much better this world would be with that. Anyways, very cool stuff. Very cool concepts. Again, if you're here in the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast, make sure and subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thanks for those who have been commenting on here. We appreciate you. If you want all the episodes, you can go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online and get all the episodes for the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. New episode releases every Wednesday. And if you want to learn how to be more engaging, make sure and come to the Engaging Retreat every October 20th through the 22nd, or take your phone out, scan for the free ticket, as well as we have this amazing paid tickets where we put you on stage. If you're an attendee, we put you on stage at night, and you too can have this incredible 5-minute new video. And if you want to be like our good friend Fran here and kick it with me, then go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet, select interview, and you too could be the next guest here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. Until then, happy holidays, and I will see you next time.
Drawing star people and keep old people, show you got heart. Now we're playing the game and we're totally scoring, learning
Oh God, Zoom moved all the controls. How do I stop this thing? I don't know where it is. Oh no. Will I stop it on time? I don't know. Zoom, why did you do this to me again?